Hello, everyone. I'm Kirk from Bazaarvoice, and I'm joined by the fabulous Carina Lamb from eMarketer.
Hi, everyone.
We're so excited to be here. Our teams have been collaborating on research to keep a pulse on consumer adoption, sentiment, and overall usage of AI. Today, we're sharing hot off the press research that showcases where AI fits into modern shoppers' journey and also where it doesn't. We're all very much aware the rules of discovery have changed and are continuing to change. In this session, we're here to talk about how shoppers actually navigate this new landscape and where you need to invest your resources to win.
So, we conducted two major surveys across three global regions. And we looked first at AI adoption and sentiment, and then we dove a bit deeper into how consumers are actually using AI tools to search for new products, consider options, and make purchases. And the data is really clear. AI is rapidly reshaping how consumers discover, evaluate, and compare their options. And generative engine optimization is going to play an increasingly important role in the future. But conversion still hinges on trust, and brands are going to win by delivering credibility and friction-free experiences.
Thanks, Karina. Shall we dive right in?
Absolutely.
All right. So we just heard Doug's framework for winning AI and shopper discovery. And it's very apparent that one of the first rules of this journey is your brand and product must be discovered. As you can see here on this slide, over 8 in 10 shoppers are already using AI tools. And of those who've already adopted, close to half, or 43% to be specific, are specifically turning to AI for their shopping needs. And then to drill this down further, they're really leaning into use AI specifically for product recommendations or comparisons. So if you think about it, AI is now the gatekeeper between your brand and shoppers.
So why has there been so much buzz around in AI in shopping, and why are consumers adopting it as we see that they are? So at a high level, we can see here that shoppers' priorities haven't really changed. They still want the best possible value without giving up on quality or trust. And they're increasingly interested in finding new or innovative products. But what has really changed in recent years is the environment they're shopping in. So online choices exploded, and alongside it, there's been a surge in hype, sponsored content, often lots of conflicting information. So it's not that surprising then that shoppers are embracing AI tools that can help them find the right product at the right price and make it easier to assess quality by comparing specs, reviews, and alternatives in a more objective way. So we asked shoppers what tasks they would trust AI to handle. And you can see here that trust tends to follow utility. So at the moment, shoppers are most comfortable with using AI at the top of the funnel for discovery and consideration. So that's things like comparing prices, surfacing product information, and to a lesser extent, product recommendations. They're also comfortable with using AI for simple post-purchase tasks, such as delivery tracking. But when it comes to more sensitive tasks like returns, refunds, or customer service, we see that confidence drop off quite sharply. And the hesitation is even stronger when it comes to allowing AI to purchase products, even if they've consented to that purchase. We do expect trust around purchase is going to grow slightly as shoppers become more familiar with AI tools and start using features like ChatGPT's instant checkout, though.
And knowing that price comparisons and product information are where shoppers currently trust using AI, we are seeing a shift overall in discovery, especially with the rise of LLMs and how search is really being redefined. Until now, shoppers have leaned on traditional search engines like Google, where keywords lead to top results. Now, they can express intent more naturally through generative AI tools, which have a better understanding of natural language. As you can see on this slide, 3 in 4 shoppers are using generative AI tools for recommendations. Search is evolving into generative engine optimization, or GEO. We all love the great acronym, of course. And I do want to point out that we did hypothesize with the 2 surveys that we have conducted that some consumers are using a lot of these generative AI tools without perhaps even realizing. So we were mindful of the language that we did use in these questions. And we're very specifically with this question, and even use visual prompts to ensure respondents understood the question. And while 54% are using generative AI tools as a supplement to their research, nearly 20% have abandoned traditional search entirely in favor of AI tools. So what does this mean? Shoppers are entering search and discovery mode without necessarily a clear destination. They're exploring, comparing, and they're actively looking for recommendations. So to bring it back again, in order to be discovered, your brand must show up where these tools are looking. Well, there is a point that we need to call out too. So shoppers are not trusting AI summaries blindly. We do know that they trust authenticity and human voices. And so what we're seeing is, due to a lack of visibility of what is ultimately sourcing the recommendations, this is really fueling that consumer skepticism. However, when we asked shoppers what sources would alleviate the skepticism and potentially build that trust, close to 2 in 3 agreed that AI recommendations would have more credibility if sourced by reviews and photos from real people, fellow shoppers, or as we call user-generated content. And in looking at the breakdown of these responses, this implies that user-generated content from fellow shoppers can be up to 7 times more influential than brand-provided information. If you think about it, it does make sense in terms of having that additional layer of context, again, the authenticity and getting that peer-to-peer recommendation that they always tend to lean into to validate their purchase. So to be discovered is not enough. You must also be trusted. And even with this AI recommendation, we wanted to understand the user behavior of with that recommendation suffice. And 9 in 10 shoppers agree that they would require validation from real customers before they buy. And so what we found is once they received that AI summary recommendation, they were then also going to the product page to read reviews, look at UGC to get that verification. And as you can see here on the slide, this importance is consistently high regardless of the category or industry. So it really showcases how authentic human voices, user-generated content, they're likely to trust the output of the summary if they know that's the input, but then they're also going back to your product page to verify that one step further. And while AI influences confidence for around 3 in 4 buyers, it's rarely the sole driver. For a quarter of this group, AI is the first step in research. Their final decision still rests on the credibility built through these authentic consumer voices. The authentic consumer voices are really help to alleviate a lot of the skepticism as they adapt to this new way of discovery.
So we've already seen that AI is starting to influence retail in a meaningful way, and not just from our consumer survey here. We're also seeing a lot of data to back that up. So according to one Adobe report, traffic to retail sites from generative AI tools increased by 1,200% in the 12 months to October 2025. Now, obviously, that's from a very low base, but it's showing that these platforms are driving traffic to retail websites. And eMarketer's latest forecast shows that AI platforms, so that's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google's AI mode, are going to drive a 1.5% share of total US e-commerce sales in 2026, rising to 8.8% by 2029. So to put that into context, 5 years after Facebook launched Marketplace and product ads, social commerce had only achieved a 3.3% share of US e-commerce sales. So it's obviously going to be a big channel, but it's really crucial to understand that 95% of those AI platform-driven e-commerce sales are going to be completed off-site on retailer websites, rather than on-site using tools like ChatGPT's instant checkout. And that's reflected in our consumer survey. So even given the option to check out directly in an AI tool, around 2/3 of shoppers said they prefer to complete their purchase on a brand or retailer's own website. So it's again underlining that point that brands and retailers really need to focus on optimizing their product pages for conversion and making sure that handoffs from AI platforms to their own sites are seamless and friction-free. When it comes to the factors that stop people from purchasing with AI tools, we can see that there are still quite a lot of fears around data privacy and security. So that was a concern for 65% of shoppers. But there's also worries about how returns and refunds would work and a perceived lack of customer support. And they're the same sort of concerns that we saw hindering shoppers from purchasing directly on social commerce platforms back in the early days of social commerce. And that comparison with social, I think, is really important because I do think that brands and retailers need to be thinking about AI in a similar way. So rather than completely replacing shopping journeys, AI platforms are going to be another channel that brands and retailers can leverage in a similar way to how they've been leveraging platforms like TikTok. So on-site checkout might be part of the mix there, particularly for consumers who want a really friction-free buying experience. And so brands and retailers might eventually want to come to think about how they could boost on-site conversions within AI tools. We can see here that security is really going to be critical. So 61% of people say that secure payment options would convince them to use AI checkout. We're already seeing some of the AI platforms partnering with trusted payment providers. OpenAI developed the agentic commerce protocol with Stripe. Google's announced the new agent payments protocol with some leading payments and technology companies. But it's not all just about security. I thought it was really interesting here that 61% of people said that they would be convinced by discounts or promotional offers. And again, that's something that we saw was proven really successful in social commerce.
Thank you, Karina. We made it to the end. We shared a lot of information with all of you. And the goal today wasn't just to share the insights. We wanted to give you some actionable key takeaways to leave this session with. So Karina and I can walk you through 4 that we came up with. All right, so number 1, optimize the signal. To be discovered, you must treat your user-generated content as a core input for AI models, not just a display layer on your site. 2, anchor discovery in proof. To be trusted, you must anchor that discovery in human proof. Shoppers use AI to filter options, but they rely on verified consumer voices to build that confidence to buy.
Number 3, control the point of conversion. So we've seen that a lot of sales going to happen on retailer websites. And so to drive conversion, you need to continue investing in product pages and things like fast load times, consistent pricing, clear product details, customer reviews, minimal steps between click and checkout are going to be really critical to capturing demand. And finally, solve the certainty gap. So when integrating with AI tools, you're really going to have to remove friction by prioritizing things like secure payments and data privacy. And it's really all about identifying the specific nudges that are going to close that gap between an AI recommendation and a confirmed sale.
Well, Karina, I just want to thank you so much for your partnership on this research. It's been such a joy to work with you, and I'm so thrilled to have this opportunity to co-present with you today.